Hi everyone, and welcome to my next video tutorial, which is going to be focused on generating random sample data with Faker. And Faker is essentially a package which is going to allow us to utilize fake and random data, which we can populate within our Django models. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, like always, just make sure that you have a simple Django project to which you want to apply this to. So that is essential. All right, so the next thing that we want to do is, assuming that you have that set up and into place, we just want to do the basics here. So you want to make sure that you have your Django project up and running and ensure that you also have a Django app set up and ready to go. So here I have a simple Django app here called CRM. And in that app here, I have my models.py file. So what you want to do is you want to ensure that you have a model that you want to utilize in Django admin. So as you can see here, I have a model called blog. I have two attributes or fields, you could say, known as title and description. And I haven't migrated it yet. So in this phase here, what you can do is go ahead and set up the model to which you want to generate the fake and random sample data for. So I want to generate a lot of data for my blog model here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head on over to my terminal and I want to make this migration for this model. So I'm going to say Python manage.py make migrations. Okay, let me just adjust that, press enter. And there we go, I've created that model blog. Now I want to push this model to my database. So I'm going to say Python manage.py migrate. And this is going to push it to my database. And there we go, I can see I have that model pushed. Great, now I just want to simply register this model. So if I go to my directory, I'm going to go to my admin.py file. And I just want to import this model so it's in the same directory. So what I can do is I can just say from dot models, so it's going to refer to this models.py file here. Going to say import, and I'm going to import the class according to its name, which is blog. So I'm going to say blog. Perfect. Then I want to register this model. So to do so, I'm going to refer to admin. So I'm going to say admin.site.register, and within the parentheses, I want to register the model known as blog so I can see it in Django admin. Perfect. So make sure you've got that set up. Next, we can create a super user so we can just confirm that our model is available and registered. So what we can do is do just that. So let's go ahead and create a super user. So in your terminal, you can say Python manage.py create super user. I'm going to leave it on the default. For the username, I'm going to leave the email blank and I'll enter in a password. And then I can run my server. There we go. And now what I can do is I can just go ahead and head over to Django admin. So in our case here, it's going to be at localhost /admin. That will take you here. And now you can log in with your super user credentials. All right. So once you've entered in your credentials, you can go ahead and log into Django admin. There we go. And as you can see now under our app, so CRM was my app that I have here. As you can see, I have that model that I just migrated known as blog, and it's been registered in Django admin here accordingly. And we can see it is visible right here. All right. So make sure you've got that set up. That is crucial. Now we can go ahead and set up the process for Faker. So let's go ahead and follow the steps for installing Faker. All right. So let's install Faker. All right. So we can head on over to our terminal here. We can stop our server. And this is going to help us, this library for Faker is going to help us to generate fake data. So to install it, you can just say pip install Faker. And make sure you install that within your virtual environment, very important. So let's just give that a moment to install. So this may take a moment depending on your system speed as well, and all of the sub packages that can come along with Faker as well. So let's just give that a moment to install and set up. Alright, so as you can see now, Faker has successfully been installed. Now the next thing that we want to do is clear our terminal, and we want to access the Python shell. So to do so, we can say python manage.py, and we can just say shell and press enter. Perfect. So now we can go ahead and programmatically add in the commands that we typically use in Django right here in this shell. So after accessing the shell, as we can see now, we can perform these programmatic commands. So what we want to do is import our blog model from our app in which we defined our model. So in my case, let's take a look. So I defined my blog model here in my CRM app. So wherever you created your model, you need to refer to the app name. So my app is CRM, and the model I want to use in the CRM directory here is under the models.py file, and it's called blog. So what we can do is refer to it accordingly. So I'm going to say from, and first I need to refer to the particular app where my models.py file is situated. So I'm going to say CRM, that's my Django app, dot. Then I'll need to refer to the models.py file, which is here. So I'm going to say dot models, after which I want to import that particular model, and that's going to be blog in my case here. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to say blog and enter. Perfect. So make sure you have followed that step. The next thing that we want to do is we want to import the Faker class from the Faker library /package. So to do so, we can say from Faker import Faker. Now remember, it needs to be a lowercase here for the F and an uppercase here for the F here. And enter. Perfect. Now the next thing that we want to do is we want to create an instance of the Faker class. Now the instance stored will be in the variable form that we decide. So I'm going to dictate that variable to be Faker here, equals, and then I want to be able to refer to the class accordingly. So I'm going to say Faker and leave that as an open and closing parentheses. Right, so make sure you press enter on there. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and follow the next step here. So what we need to do now is we need to go ahead and actually generate a for loop. So we're going to go ahead and create a for loop that's going to create a particular number of objects as we so desire to be created in our Django database pertaining to our blog model. So in our case, I want to create 50 blog record /objects. Now with each blog, okay, we're going to have randomly generated data in the form of our title and description fields, which will be automatically populated for us. So let's go ahead and set this up. So first of all, I want to go ahead and specify my for loop. So I'm going to go ahead and say for I in range, and within my parentheses, I'm going to say 0, 50. And that's going to ensure that I have 50 record /objects created, and I'm going to add in my colon at the end. Then what you want to do is you want to go on ahead and you want to press enter, and you want to make sure that you indent. So it's going to go on a new line, and you just want to go ahead and add in 1 space. So you have a little bit of an indentation, and now we're just going to add in some logic in terms of ORM here. So I'm going to go ahead and say blog. So you need to refer to the model that you're going to be utilizing, .objects, .create. And here in parentheses, you want to open that up and refer to your attributes or fields. So in my case, I'm going to have title and description. So I'm going to say title is going to be equals to, of course, Faker. So I'm going to define it as Faker.sentence and leave it as the empty parentheses. So .sentence is essentially a method which is going to generate a random sentence from the Faker library for a few random sentences. And I feel that this is going to be appropriate for a title. Okay, perfect. Now the next thing that we want to do is we want to refer to our second attribute. So that's going to be description. So we can go ahead now and say description equals, and that's going to be Faker dot, and that is going to also be a particular method. So this method is going to be paragraph. So it's going to be dot paragraph. graph. So I figure that will be suitable to generate paragraphs. So I'm going to close that parentheses, and remember this dot create method here, we want to also close that parentheses as follows. So go on ahead and press enter now. Okay, so we can see we've got that all set up and ready to go, and we can go ahead and press enter again, and there we go. We can see now that we've got 50 objects created for our blog object. So now what we can do is head on over to our as you can see here, our Django admin, but we need to exit this shell. So to exit it, you can just say exit, opening and closing empty parentheses, press enter, and now we can just clear this up and run python manage.py run server. Right, so as we can see, our server is running. So what I'm going to do is just refresh the Django admin page. And now if I go to blogs, I can now see I have 50 blog objects that have been created for me. Now let's just test one for example. So let me go to blog object 50. I can see here I have a title included and a description also in place for that particular object. Right, and we can see it's going to be different for each blog that has been set up here. We're going to see here that we have some dummy data in place, and this is very helpful if you just want to generate some sample data for your models for your own particular use cases. Alright guys, so that's it for this video tutorial. I hope you found it helpful. As you can see, it's very easy and simple to get started, and it's going to be very useful for your own applications, for some testing especially. Right guys, so that's it, and as always, thank you for the support, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.